Hello, you precious humans. I am Jamie Dawn, your evolutionary revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your celestial wisdom for the week of August 14th through the 20th of 2022. And first of all, thank you so much for those of you who knew I was on vacation a week and a half ago with my children. It was a wonderful time, and I just really appreciate your support. And I'm back, and we have a little bit of energy going on here this week. In particular, Mars is making its ingress into the sign of Gemini, where it will stay for 7 months. I'll talk about that. That happens at the end of the week. But let's start with Sunday. Here we are, August 14th. Mercury is in Virgo, and it is setting up this trine aspect to Uranus as it's running through the sign of Virgo. Now, we may experience at the beginning of the week here some sudden news. It can create some new possibilities. Our thoughts can be really stimulated and energized here with Uranus applying to Mercury and Mercury singing right back to Uranus. And conversations can be really electrifying. We may have some interesting conversations, some unusual ones that allow us to be able to go, oh, here's a solution to something that I've been really waiting for, especially if you're dealing with a health issue. Maybe a family member's dealing with a health situation and you've been looking for solutions and you can get the answers. Maybe you've had some tests done earlier and now here comes the results. And here on Monday, the 15th, the sun will oppose Saturn. So it's going to be standing across the sky, looking Saturn and the sun looking at each other, and the moon will be canoodling with Jupiter at the time. And so here we have the sun, which gives us our energy, our vitality, our creativity, and especially because it's in the sign of Leo where it's at home. And then the moon is what we use for our subconscious if we need to nurture ourselves. It's the father and which is the sun, and the mother, which is the moon. We have these archetypes working together. Now, the moon is canoodling with Jupiter. So whatever we're sensing, whatever we're feeling in the sign of Aries, with more independence, we want a little bit of drama, we want a little bit of action. It just gets expanded when it's next to Jupiter. So our creative endeavors can really get executed here with discipline and order because the sun is opposing Saturn. Saturn has a tendency to restrict, but it's not so much of a no, you can't do this. It's more of like, let's put some order to this creative thought process. So this is a great time, Monday, to get some things done. Energized by unusual circumstances, and we'll know what direction to go based on how we feel because of the moon here. So if we feel excited, we feel happy, if we're having these unusual conversations with people, let's say, and we have these new information that pops in, now we can say, okay, these are the solutions, and I feel really good about it because I feel purposeful, or I feel like it just feels right. This is a great time to trust your intuition, to also take a little bit of risk here and say, you know what, I'm not sure what the outcome is, but something about going this direction feels really good. Opportunities that we've been waiting for can also arrive around this time because this energy, Mercury, will make the exact trine to Uranus on Tuesday, August 16th. So all of this is leading up to some good news, some opportunities that help set us on a path because Uranus is canoodling with the North Node. So this is destiny. This is whatever actions and conversations we have help to set us in a direction that we really feel we can go and we can make some progress. And it takes time. We just have to be innovative and think a little bit out of the box here. Wednesday, August 17th, Venus is still in Leo and setting up to a trine in Jupiter, which will be exact the next day on the 18th. Now, we should be feeling a little more optimistic when it comes to love and finances and life in general. And this is also a great time to circulate. Maybe there's a new romance that pops in if you're looking for love. Get out and go on a date Wednesday and Thursday. This is a perfect time to do it. We can fix or repair any tensions that we've had in relationships, some misunderstandings, socializing and feeling really good about ourselves. This is a great time where our confidence can be really boosted. So, put on that sexy outfit and get out and go circulate. put yourself out there on the dating app if that's something you want, or you and your beloved have those conversations that maybe feel a little risky. Ask some risky questions here. Venus does make an exact trine to Jupiter on Thursday, August 18th, and the moon will canoodle with Uranus and Mars at this time. Now, this can lead to some really good news in relationships and finances, as I mentioned before. It can put us in a good mood. It can also create some intensity of emotions that make us feel like we just have to say certain things or we have to do something with making something happen. This is a time where we may feel like we're forcing something, and the invitation is let the emotions run, but don't take an action if you're at a height of emotion or if you're try not to be impulsive. I think we're going to have a hard time not being impulsive with what we say or do. But I don't know. Sometimes you just have to go for it. I get that. But at the same time, if the emotions are extremely intense, remember, our words can harm or heal. The actions we take, we don't want to destroy the relationship if you're talking about a relationship dynamic, right? But you can offer more ways of love and affection, showing that, giving that. This is a great time to have some really raunchy, fun sex as well. So, if you're in a casual relationship or you're in a committed relationship, this is a great time for you to deepen that and to just go and enjoy each other in every possible way. You can also have opportunities to give and receive just very sweet gifts. So if maybe your love language is gift giving, this is or acts of service. This is a wonderful time for you to share and show how much you love your beloved. Now, on Friday, August 19th, Mercury is going to oppose Neptune. So remember, the beginning of the week, things have probably been pretty intense, especially emotionally, and some of the desire. It's like, I want what I want. Well, on Friday, when Mercury's opposing Neptune, that's not a time to go really deep. It's not a time to do much but daydream a little bit, because some miscommunication could happen. Dreaming, talking about the future, wanting to lay down those details. You may feel that urge. This is a time where do the daydreaming and then give it some real what do you call it? I was going to say details again, but I didn't want to use that word. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But give it some real girth, put some flesh on the bones, as they say. And it's not necessarily an action time. This is a time where you want to escape some reality. And I know that we may feel like some duty and responsibilities or obligations still have to be fulfilled. It's a Friday, at the end of the work week. So we're wanting to get away for a little bit. So check off your to-do list in the morning and then try and take the afternoon off if you can, and just go and enjoy, because guess what? Saturday, Mars ingresses into the sign of Gemini. As I mentioned, it stays for 7 months. And this is because Mars is going to retrograde in November. So let's talk about this. This is the big talk of the town. I'm going to set it up, and we'll keep coming back to this throughout the next 7 months. But and Mars retrogrades every 2.5 years. So this is not a common thing like Mercury retrograde, but it is, 2.5 years. And in the sign of Gemini, it can find us much more social, right? And especially as we're still coming out of COVID, people are now returning back to work weeks or being back in the office. And so we can find that we're driven to be more curious, more social. Our conversations can be a lot more lively. We may desire to learn more and connect with many people in many different subject matters. This is a great time for being in school. So if you're thinking about higher education, you're thinking about taking a certification, things like that, dabble in a few. If you're not quite sure what direction to go, Mars and Gemini gives us an opportunity to be able to kind of spatter ourselves around and say, I think I like this. I imagine I use the symbol of a dragonfly on the water. That's what Mars and Gemini reminds me of. It just sort of flits and floats, and it takes a little dip of water and it goes to the next, and butterflies on a different colored flowers. Another image that I think of too with Mars and Gemini here. So we're driven to try different things out. Also, intellectual matters. We can find ourselves involved with people who stimulate our minds. And so ask outlandish questions. And if you are finding yourself attracted to people that stimulate you, or that have, you may have multiple people in your life, not just one. This is a great time for friendships to really come together. If you want to spice things up in the bedroom, start with the mental stimulation. This is the voyeur kind of energy. Watch movies together, or videos, or reading erotica, or talking about what your fantasies might be. These are all ways in which you can spice some things up. And I'll give you this little tip as well for those of you in relationship, is just send that little text or leave that little voicemail or whatever, like in the morning, of, hey, I'm thinking about you and I can't wait to do something with you tonight, something fun. Or, hey, I just love when you look this certain way, or do this to me, that sort of thing. And then you let it go for a little while, and you let the fantasies run, you let the things sort of percolate. Now, on the negative side of Mars in Gemini is that we can experience ourselves and others being a little bit more nervous about things than usual. So watch the mind. The monkey mind's going to be running around. So it can make us a little more cynical. It can make us rude. It can also, maybe others are that way towards us, which, people get easily offended by words. I still haven't figured that one out. But then again, this can create situations where we just say a lot of stuff without thinking. So do keep that in mind. Also, Mars is going to be making a trine to Saturn during this transit in Gemini. So this can enhance some of the negative traits when we look at Mars and Saturn working in this trine. And what I mean by that is we can, again, speak without thinking. We can find ourselves maybe even having multiple affairs because we're bored in our current one, or we're not interested. We get easily attracted to many people, and we lack commitment, or we betray the commitment that we've made. So those are some of the negatives that could happen. Now, this is also a positive time to get into like couples counseling or your own personal counseling, to talk through some things that maybe you're afraid of, or talk through some things that that you weren't quite clear about. Now you can create some clarity for yourself. This is a great transit for information to be freely shared, because information is power. We can start to feel more powerful within ourselves, within our relationships, and within our work, that sort of thing. Now, do watch out for identity theft. Watch out for confidential information being leaked out. I have a feeling that somewhere globally, this is something that may be happening. And if you've been waiting for information, or you've suspected that there was something more that needed to be shared because not all the facts were given to you up front, this is a time where now it can start to come out. It may come out in little bits and pieces, but you can start to connect the dots. Mars in Gemini is great for connecting dots, and it's great for being able to take information and put it into a form that makes sense. So be patient. Mars is not a patient planet anyways, or a patient energy that we deal with. However, because we do have that trine going on with Saturn during this transit, it will require patience, and that can create some frustration. But as I like to say, if you can't be patient, at least be gentle and connect with your support group. Mars and Gemini is a wonderful time to collect your support group and to use them. I imagine there's going to be a lot more mastermind groups going on, and counseling groups going on. I can see a lot of individuals having like a coach and a therapist and a mentor, and like I say, multiple supports people around them. So I'm excited about what's coming. We're always going to have something to deal with that's not so much fun. However, remember, we're perfectly imperfect humans, and we're doing the best that we can, and we have each other. So come find me at jamiedawn.com. I look forward to connecting with you. I want to hear how all this is going. I'm going to continue to create some new energy around these videos, around what information you might need. I'm looking forward to your feedback. Please continue to give that to me. And I hope you guys have such a great week. Take care.